Shalom family. So it being the 31st of October, I thought, you know what? For those that don't have access to his website, the Season of Return, or Facebook, because some of us have exited Facebook completely, I will run through the article he posted now recently on Halloween and the Flood of Noah. T.W.Tramm, 27th of the 10th, 2024. Halloween is growing more popular each year. Next to Christmas, it is the largest retail holiday in America. It is also the second most celebrated holiday among millennials, beating out Thanksgiving. Despite popularity, few are aware of Halloween's true origins. The standard explanation is that the spooky celebration derives from the pagan practices of the Druids and the Celts. The Celtic festival called Samhain, meaning summer's end, marked the end of the harvest season and the start of the darker half of the year. The Celts believed that during Samhain, the boundary between the physical and spiritual world was thinner and spirits could move easily, traversing the realms. The visiting spirits, thought to be degraded versions of the ancient gods, had to be appeased to ensure that people and livestock would survive the winter. Thus, food and drink, treats, were left out as offerings. Now remember that bit, degraded gods' spirits. Another Samhain tradition was to hollow out turnips or beets to make lanterns. The vegetable lanterns, often with grotesque faces carved into them, were placed on windowsills to ward off evil spirits. As an added measure of protection, people would wear costumes or disguises to avoid being recognized by the spirits. A clue that Halloween's roots extend beyond the tradition of the Celts, however, is the fact that ancient cultures worldwide, from the Aztecs of Mexico to the Aborigines of Australia, have similar traditions about a day of death and departed spirits, which happens to occur around the end of October. The Aztecs observed the Day of the Dead in November. The Assyrians had ceremonies for the souls of the dead in October, November. The Peruvians ended their November New Year celebration by placing food and drink on the graves of the departed. The Hindu Durga festival of the dead was originally linked to the New Year in November. The Persians called November Mordat, the month of the angel of death, and the early Anglo-Saxons called November Blood Month. The Aboriginal Australians would around this time paint white stripes on their arms and legs so that they could look like skeletons. So there's this connection worldwide about this time and disembodied spirits and demonic things. What is fascinating is that equally as prevalent at the summer festivals to the dead are traditions about a flood that nearly wiped out the whole human race. Dating back to the latter stage of the Stone Age, accounts from virtually every continent and island chain, from the Americas to Asia, describe a deluge sent by a god or gods to destroy civilization as an act of divine retribution. A common thread in a flood myth is that destruction of humanity inaugurated a new era or cycle that will similarly end in destruction. Now we know it's not a myth, it is a factual event that happened. Diverse traditions around the common theme, a world-destroying flood in October, November, suggest such an event actually happened. According to the most historically and archaeologically accurate ancient book in existence, the Bible, the flood that wiped out nearly all of humanity in the months of Sheshvan, October, November, is the flood of Noah. Thus, the holiday associated with disembodied spirits, known by different names and celebrated in various ways around the globe, is actually a remembrance of the dead who perished as a result of God's judgment. The Halloween now pays homage to the wicked destroyed in Noah's day, sheds a revealing light on the macabre holiday, and explains its exploding popularity as we near the day of Jesus' return. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Now the interesting thing is, if you dig into it, the disembodied spirits of the old gods and things like that. If you go into the book of Enoch, which is an extra biblical book, they'll tell you that these giants that died became disembodied spirits, which we know as demons that roam around seeking who they can inhabit. So that is also interesting, tying into this whole Halloween situation that the world is more and more embracing everywhere. I mean, China is cracking down on Halloween celebrations because they don't want it to be used as an opportunity for dissent against government and an uprising, and everyone's wearing masks and costumes so that they can't be recognized, which is a perfect opportunity. So again, well done, brother T.W.Tramm, for putting that together and putting it out there on your website so that people can be educated and learn about this and see the connections to, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the end. Stay informed and stick to truth, and truth is in the Word of God. Shalom.